So what's up everybody, this is going to be a video that I was thinking about doing for a while, and I did make comments about this in another video, but I think Asta might end up starting somewhat of a rebellion in the Clover Kingdom. I'm not gonna say he's gonna lead it, but what I believe is with Asta's case, now that we know that Damnatio was starting to favor Asta, he started to doing a lot of more research, and then the person that he realized that was actually shady was Julius. Now that Lucius, who is Julius, basically put Damnatio out of commission, makes you wonder what will happen with Asta's case. And I think that case might end up causing a rebellion in terms of the commoners and peasants versus the nobles and the royals, because the Clover Kingdom just saw Asta save it from the ancient demon. So if something were to happen to Asta with that case and they want to further persecute him, it's going to cause problems. So let's get into this interesting Black Clover discussion / theory. First of all, if you like anime, manga reviews, discussion, spoilers, and theories, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, like, comment, switch hit me with some false copyright strikes. So let's get this channel back to 5,000. I have a second channel that focuses on One Piece and Boruto. Bear with me, I'm still catching up to a lot of mangas. Check out the Discord and Patreon. So yes, this is going to be an interesting video because I'm starting to think that there's going to be some trouble with Asta's court case. We know that Damnatio seemed like he was in charge of prosecuting, or just basically the prosecutor, in terms of him trying to favor the court system, which is really the royals, to look at Asta as a potential threat and a devil worshiper. So now that we saw that Asta saved the kingdom, he's definitely going to have more of the common people and the people in general support. When I say people, I mean like commoners, peasants, up to possibly nobles, and a few royals, obviously the ones that were with Asta fighting with Lucifero, the captains and all that, and their family. I'm pretty sure they're going to start favoring Asta a little bit more, but of course Noel's siblings, except Nozel, will probably be smiling, you know, that arrogant smile, because they still look down on Asta. But the fact that Damnatio was out of commission and it looked like Damnatio was starting to favor more towards Asta being a good person, even though he is devil possessed, he can use his devil possessed powers for the good of the country. So it was starting to seem like Damnatio was heading towards helping Asta and making his name being cleared. However, now that Damnatio is out of commission because of Lucius and Julius, I'm pretty sure Lucius wasn't expecting Damnatio to find out about his past. I mean, it could be a case because he did say time's up. Maybe when Damnatio find out, that was going to be the start of his plan. Who knows? Maybe that was going to be the start of when he starts taking action as Lucius versus just Julius. Who knows? However, the fact that Damnatio's out, I wouldn't be surprised if moving forward there's going to be a problem with Asta's court case, because we already know that the royal family doesn't look kind to Asta because he is a peasant, and because he's devil possessed, it's even worse. I know that he's been a huge factor in the fight with the Spade Kingdom. He saved the world, but at the end of the day, this story is all about basically classism and discrimination, because we've seen Asta being discriminated against because he is a peasant at the beginning of the story, when he was around the royals, all these type of things. He always had to prove himself because he was coming from 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢 village, but also because he was a peasant. He was at the bottom of the bottom. But now that Asta has done a lot of accomplishments and he is no longer just an ordinary peasant, he is somebody of importance, especially to the Clover Kingdom. If something were to happen to him, a lot of the common folk and also nobles, including some of the royals that are captains, they're going to fight for Asta. They're going to do their best to try to protect him because he is a huge asset to the kingdom. And not only that, he's proven himself to be a good person. He's proven his worth as a person. So say Asta actually gets to the court case and they persecute him and he's set for execution, I wouldn't be surprised if it caused a riot towards the whole entire kingdom and everybody starts rebelling against the classism in the Clover Kingdom. Because we've seen that Julius, when he was about to die from Pachi's sword, he was going down, he said, I wanted to make a society without discrimination with you. And right under it, it was Asta saying something similar, that he didn't want a society with discrimination and classism. So that makes you believe, is this all Lucius' plan or Julius' plan to make Asta this person that destroys classism classism, discrimination in his country? Is this all a part of Lucius's plan to start a civil war, and for whatever reason the discrimination ends, but it favors Lucius for what diabolical plan he has? We're still not entirely sure of his motives. Hopefully it's not some generic evil villain type of thing. I hope 𝚲𝚘𝚅 makes it very interesting, but it's clear that Lucius wants something and he's using Asta as basically a puppet to get it. So I wouldn't be surprised if all of this, the execution, Asta being accused, all this starts a rebellion, and this is what Lucius wanted. He wanted chaos for whatever reason so that he could possibly, in his own twisted way, start a society that is without classism and discrimination. However, obviously it's not going to be morally just because this is a devil. I mean, we did see 𝚲𝚘𝚅 being a devil that cares about humanity, but Lucius and Astaroth, we're not entirely sure if they're good or bad. And so far, from what it looks like, he is bad because he's planned all of the massacres, he's planned all the issues that's been going on in the Clover Kingdom, Yel's being reborn. All that has probably been Lucius and Astaroth's plan, because we know that Astaroth is the devil of time and he's a king of the underworld, so of course he's gonna know what 𝚲𝚘𝚅 is doing when he's meddling in the human world. So that being said, if Asta is set to be executed or sentenced to life, the whole Clover Kingdom will start rebelling. It'll be very interesting to see how the peasants, who basically don't have much mana to fight, but maybe we could see Magna and Zora teaching the peasants more of the ruins that they've been doing, and then that'll be a way they can start fighting back on a somewhat equal terms as the nobles, commoners, and possibly royals. We've seen King Augustus, we've seen Damnatio's family, they're basically the ruling royal family at this moment, but it'll be very interesting to see that whole system of kings and queens gets completely destroyed, gets wiped out, and then Asta and basically the rebellions, once they win, start a democratic society. We've seen that before in other mangas, especially in Magi, how Alibaba was prince and he decided that he wanted his country to be a democratic society. However, his kingdom got taken over. I see that happening in the Clover Kingdom, where it will no longer be a Clover Kingdom, it will be like a Clover Republic. Also, there's a possibility that all the kingdoms just become one country, one republic. We'll see what happens, but yes, this trial is going to be very important in the next arc. Don't sleep on it. I know there's a possibility that they could use Vanica as a scapegoat and have her be responsible for what happened to not only the Spade Kingdom, but also what happened to the Clover Kingdom. Obviously, she's partly responsible for the ancient demon showing up in the Clover Kingdom, so I'm sure she will be trialed as a war criminal, which will be very interesting too, because technically, wouldn't Yuno want Vanica to also be tried as a war criminal as well in his kingdom once he does become king? Also, with all that being said, I would like to see a lot of people start looking Asta in a better light. I know Asta cheesed a lot, but when he was in trial, a lot of people, like the captain of the Purple Orca, was still looking down on him. I would like them actually starting to favor on the side of Asta. That would be very interesting if 𝚲𝚘𝚅 does that. Damnatio probably being out of commission for a while is going to be a huge factor. I think he's still going to come back. I don't think he's actually dead. I think he's just frozen in time. I think Damnatio would eventually probably get back in the story. I mean, he's probably clinging on to life somehow. However, somebody's going to have to figure out that Julius is Lucius. Somebody's going to have to figure out that there's 3 rulers of the underworld. I think Nacht might suspect something. Nacht's family knew a lot about the underworld. They knew that there's 3 rulers of the underworld, the space, time, and gravity devil. They all control the underworld. I'm pretty sure Nacht might have some type of suspicion towards Julius. So hopefully that gets played out, and Nacht's going to be the person that kind of points to the people that there's something off with Julius. And Asta's trial, hopefully that gets to be something huge, and I hope by Asta's trial somebody's going to figure that out. It'll be very cool if Nacht at Asta's trial accuses Julius of either being possessed by a time devil or being the time devil himself. We'll see, but Nacht's going to most likely going to be the person that will put 2 and 2 together, because he's the one that has the most knowledge of the underworld, at least for what we know. Also, he was a spy in the Spade Nation, so of course he would know that there's 4 𝚲𝚅𝚅 siblings. It really makes me think. But yes, that's all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think is going to happen next arc. Do you think that Asta's trial is going to be important? Do you think it's not going to be important? Do you think that Vanica will be blamed for everything? Do you think that she's going to be tried as a war criminal? Do you think that she's actually going to be trapped in the Clover Kingdom moving forward? Do you think Asta, if he is sentenced to life or sentenced to death, do you think it's possible that Asta, his court case, could possibly start a rebellion in the Clover Kingdom? Let me know what you think of Julius' line when he was about to die by pottery. Do you think he has something to do with the end of discrimination? Do you think that he wants a rebellion? Like if you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here.